Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Weather Sim forecast. It is Monday, July 14th, 2025, and we got a lot of weather to talk about as we do have a concerning situation ongoing across areas of the Gulf of Mexico. And this is mainly given the fact that we actually got a system just to the east of Florida that's going to be moving across Florida and is going to be surging on into the northern areas of the Gulf. And this is where we could potentially see either a high end tropical storm or maybe even a low end hurricane. Not all models showed this, and we will be going over that in just a second, but it is something to watch for as we do expect areas along the south, including areas like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, and perhaps even Georgia, potentially seeing impacts from the system, whether it turns into a hurricane or if it just stays a tropical depression or even a tropical storm. So we will let you guys know about what to expect, and we will also be going over severe weather and also flooding, as that also looks to continue for the next several days as well. So make sure to stay tuned till the end so that we guys know what to expect. And we will first start off by going over the tropics, as this appears to be our most concerning situation going on, like I said. And this is mainly given the fact that we got that little system ongoing across areas just to the east of Florida, which is currently just to the north there of the Bahamas, as you can see. And this is eventually going to move across Florida and into that yellow color right there shown on the map. And this is where we do have the potential of maybe seeing a high end tropical storm to even a low end hurricane. So we will watch it very closely as the waters in the Gulf of Mexico are extremely warm. We're talking extremely favorable water temperatures for potential even some rapid intensification unfolding as well. So that will be something to keep an eye on very closely over the next couple of days and even as we head into the end of this week. And I kind of want to show you guys about why we are really concerned about this by first going on or sorry, I should say first looking at the models. We're first going to look at the icon model, which is showing potentially a rapidly intensifying system in the Gulf, because just look at that. We're talking potentially a low end hurricane just before it reaches Louisiana. We're talking wind gusts maybe up to 60 miles per hour, but where you see those darker pinks, that could even indicate some wind gusts maybe even reaching up to 75 miles per hour. So that will be something to watch for, as the icon model is showing this turning into a low, or sorry, I should say high and tropical storm to low and hurricane. And for my opinion, I think that's a little bit overdone, because low and hurricane would actually be kind of rare for this time of year. But we will still watch it very closely, as this could definitely rapidly intensify once it does move across Florida and surge into the Gulf. And same with the Canadian model. Canadian model does not show it nearly as significant. The Canadian model is still showing this potentially rapidly intensifying a little bit, but I still wouldn't expect this to turn into anything major, as the Canadian model shows this pretty weak. Same with the GFS model. The GFS model barely even shows any tropical development. It still shows some areas of 40, maybe even up there towards 50-mile-per-hour winds, especially where you see those darker green colors, because you can see how it does want to intensify it a little bit. And where you see those darker green colors, even those orange colors, like I said, that indicates maybe some winds between 40 to even 50 miles per hour. And so that will be something to watch for, like I said, as it does show it continuing to move across the Gulf. And like I said, I do think this is going to impact you guys along the south and southeast, or at least somewhere around there, but not all models show this turning into a high-end tropical storm or even a low-end hurricane. Because if we also look at the European model does not really show this turning into anything at all, despite maybe some heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. So we'll watch it, like I said, but not all models are showing the system really coming together. And I think a lot of it might be because of this trough that we're seeing. I'm going to quickly draw this out by showing you guys that we actually got a trough that is currently rolling on through right now, and this trough is actually just to the north I would say about right there, or at least that's about where the frontal boundary is setting up. It's a little farther north than that, actually. It's more across areas of Kentucky, but this is one of the reasons why we are, looking at more of a, favorable environment, but also there's still some other factors that are making this, system die down a little bit. Because with this frontal boundary setting up, like I said, this will, cause some impacts on where the system goes. But the bad news is that it does want to stay farther to the north, which is one of the reasons why we're going to be seeing, the system potentially forming. But at the same time, there will also be some areas of wind shear in the Gulf, as you can see. So even if the system does not develop, it still shows some areas of wind shear, which could also be another reason why the system might not be nearly as strong as what we thought at first. So like I said, there's many factors that goes into how the system plays out, and like I said, one of those includes the wind shear in the Gulf of Mexico. Despite it being on the lighter side of things, it's still strong enough to where the system may have a hard time trying to develop, and at the same time we'll also have some other factors going on too as well, including this frontal boundary, which, that's still to be watched because we still don't know exactly where the system will be going. But like I said, it is something to watch for, as some models do want to show it rapidly intensifying into potentially a high-end tropical storm to even a low-end hurricane. And you guys can see that with precipitation, the latest from the National Weather Service is saying that we could potentially be talking about maybe over 12 inches of rainfall across some of these areas, especially where you see those maroon colors. I'm talking areas of southern Mississippi, even parts there of eastern Louisiana, where there is the potential of seeing some higher totals, maybe up to a foot. Right now, this just wants to show maybe around 6 inches of rainfall over the next several days. But at the same time, if the system does get a little stronger, we might need to watch for potentially some major flash flooding that could also be ongoing, and same across Florida, because I think Florida will be another spot to watch for. And this system does not have to be strong at all to be bringing very heavy rainfall, including Florida, because like I said, the system that we're watching is located right here, and with it moving across Florida, this system, even though it's not anything in the way of a tropical depression or storm, it's still strong enough to where it could potentially bring anywhere from 6 to even as much as 8 inches of rainfall across some parts of Florida, once again, especially where you see those maroon colors, like I said. So this is going to be something to watch for, but at the same time, there's still some uncertainty about how exactly this thing plays out. But once again, we will still watch it very closely, as there is still the potential for the system to strengthen and maybe become a tropical storm. But like I said, if it doesn't become one, this will still likely bring some major flooding. Let's also quickly talk about the severe weather, because once again, severe weather is going to be another thing that we're going to still need to be watching for, as areas of the northern United States, southeastern Arizona, even over there into the mid-Mississippi Valley, and even all the way down here towards the I-95 corridor will be some areas to watch for severe weather today, which does include a hail threat across the northern plains, tornado threat. Thankfully, no tornado threat for today, but we do have the potential of widespread, isolated to scatter damaging wind gusts across a lot of these areas. So we gotta watch it closely, like I said, as severe weather could still become a little bit of a concern today. But keep in mind, though, that's not really expected to be anything too crazy, and nor are we expecting anything crazy tomorrow, because tomorrow, despite us maybe having a little bit of an elevated wind threat tomorrow, because you guys can see that the wind threat for tomorrow is going to be a little bit elevated, but you can see how the tornado threat tomorrow is low, and we do actually have a little bit higher chance of large hail tomorrow as well. So we'll watch it, like I said, but I don't think tomorrow is going to be nearly as bad either. So if anything, we might see a storm or two contain some quarter-size hail and even some winds up to 60 miles per hour. Other than that, I don't think we're going to be seeing anything too crazy tomorrow either, but we will still watch it just in case, as there is the potential for the system to possibly cause some impacts even once we enter tomorrow. And then you can see that once we enter day 3, still going to have the potential of seeing severe weather, but as of right now, we're not really expecting anything crazy at all. Let's also take a look at flooding, because you guys can see that with flooding, we do actually have a moderate risk for flash flooding setting up across New Jersey, southeast Pennsylvania, northern Maryland, and as well as northern Virginia. And we even got a couple other areas that we are watching for, one across central Texas and another one across central and southern Florida, where there is the potential of seeing some flash flooding for today. Tomorrow, we continue to see flash flooding persist across a lot of these areas, including even a slight risk across areas of the northern plains and upper Midwest, still continuing to see chances for flash flooding in across the mid-Atlantic and southern Florida. And then we also got that other area over there across southeastern Arizona that could potentially see some flash flooding, but I would say the bigger concern overall is going to be the mid-Atlantic, Florida, and even up there towards the upper Midwest, where we could potentially see some elevated rainfall totals. And then as we get into the next couple of days, there is the potential that we could see flash flooding once again. But once we head into the middle of this week, this is also when we're going to start seeing that tropical system potentially bring some impacts across areas of Louisiana, Mississippi, and as well as Florida, which will be another thing to watch for. But once again, there's still a little bit of uncertainty about how exactly that plays out. But the least I can say, though, is that major flash flooding will be a possibility, even if the system does not turn into a tropical storm nor hurricane. And then if we look at those rainfall totals after all the flooding we just looked at, you guys can see that upper Midwest, even parts there of the Great Lakes and back over there into the northern plains could see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. Areas of the I-95 corridor over the next several days might see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain as well. And then I think the more concerning area once again will be down here towards Louisiana, Mississippi, and as well as Florida, where we could see some major flash flooding. And like I said, it does not take much for there to be major flash flooding. It's more about the amount of moisture than it is about how strong the winds are. So like I said, even if the system does not turn into a tropical storm, we still got the potential of seeing major flash flooding, as I would not rule out a couple isolated totals of up to 1 foot. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys are interested in this channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and follow along, as we will keep you guys up to date with the latest on this channel once again. And make sure to also turn on all notifications so that you guys don't miss out on any future videos or live streams that we do here on this channel. We will keep you guys up to date with the latest, not only with the tropical system that's currently ongoing, but we'll also let you guys know if anything changes with the severe weather and as well as the flooding. So make sure to continue to stay up to date with us, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.